Jerry.
Thank you very much, Andre, for introducing this webinar. I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this webinar, where we are focusing on options for financing post-harvest management investments. And I have the honor to welcome you to this exciting webinar on behalf of Afaas, African Forum for Agricultural Advisory Services, together with our partners, Helvetas Swiss Intercorporation, the Food, Agriculture and Natural Resources Policy Network, which we abbreviate as FANRAPAN. For those of you who have not known me yet, my name's Egessa Jerry, and I'm working here at the African Forum for Agriculture Advisory Services, coordinating a project, Postharvest Management in Sub-Saharan Africa. And I want to take this opportunity to inform you that I will be guiding you through this interaction, this webinar. And we are also excited and happy to have you in this webinar. And we are very much looking forward to actively discussing with you on issues that are pertaining financing of post-harvest management investments with you. I'll be sharing with you a few things. I want to introduce some of the people that I'm going to be working with during this facilitation. And let me just open that. Yeah, so who is who within this webinar? I've already introduced myself. Number one, it is me, Jerry. And by qualification, I'm an agricultural economist by training and a practicing consultant also in monitoring and evaluation. I work with the African Forum for Agriculture Advisory Services, and for this role, I'll be moderating this webinar from now until the end. Andre has introduced himself, but he's a communication, information, and knowledge management expert who is working with Afaas in this respect, but he's also a chief executive officer for an organization, FTA, which is based in Madagascar. And he will also be facilitating this webinar together with myself. Then we will have Mauricio Negas, Mauricio, who is an agricultural economist by training. He's also a trained educationist. He has worked as a project manager of various national and international projects, both in public and the private sector, over a period spanning 14 years. He currently works with the Helvetas Swiss Intercorporation in Mozambique and based in Pemba, and he is coordinating the project Post-Harvest Management in Sub-Saharan Africa in Mozambique. Then later on, we will have Daniel Dachanga Tagali. I think he can pronounce his name better than I am doing, so he will do that. He's an agricultural extensionist and an advisor. He has worked before as an independent consultant in agricultural development. He also coordinates that same project, but based in Benin. So briefly, those are the people that we will be working with during this webinar. I just want to bring to you the program that we are going to follow today, and this is how it will look like. We will have introductions, which I've tried to do. Following the numbers, maybe we may have some introductions, brief introduction for each of the people that is on the webinar. We are going to be having presentations and maximum of 15 minutes, And the presentations will be made by Daniel and Mauricio. Then we'll have participants asking questions and giving comments, and it will be moderated by myself. Mauricio and Daniel will answer questions, and if there are any clarifications that are required, they will be able to provide that. And then we'll generally discuss proposals for improvements, and then also give us ideas on how to improve these webinars in the future. So in brief, that is what we are going to follow throughout the few minutes that we are going to be having together this morning and this afternoon. I want to take this opportunity to welcome my colleague, who is going to be our first presenter this morning. And he's called Mauricio, as I've told you earlier, and he's going to focus on how they are experiencing, what their experiences are on working with microfinance institutions in financing post-harvest management investments among smallholder farmers in their country, Mozambique. So I will take this opportunity to welcome Mauricio to make his presentation. Mauricio?
Well, thank you. My name is Mauricio Negas. As you said before, I'm from Mozambique and currently working with the Helvetas on post-harvest management project. Now, I will start here presenting our experience and lessons on microfinance. Well, just want to share here the screen with you. Now, I will basically, I want to introduce a little bit on the project, just to give you an overview. Well, the project in Mozambique is being implemented in 2 provinces, basically with the aim of improving food and income security through a better use of improved post-harvest technologies, and also learn out of the lessons and other issues this in other countries. Basically, this is funded by SDC and implemented in consortium with Helvetas as coordinator, general coordination of the project. And then we have the Farpan, Afaas, Agridea. But locally, we have also the implementing partners. We actually include all the market actors. In the 2 provinces of Mozambique, in Cabo Delgado, the activities are actually focused in 1 district, which is called the Shiuri, and in Nampula is Mekuburi. Now, in terms of activities that we are implementing, we have on-farm validation of the different options on post-harvest management, and also we move to the promotion of suitable business models and then development of dissemination tools for good practices of post-harvest management. And this includes also capacity building of all these value chain actors, broad awareness and dissemination, and also we intervene on policy dialogue, well, to bring up a conducive environment so that there is investment on post-harvest. Our focus is on food loss reduction, basically. And right in the beginning, we have gone through different traditional practices, including also this drying, right on the harvest, drying, storage, all these steps, different steps. We considered all the traditional existing practices, and then we tested them to see their efficiency, acceptance. These were validated to come up to the promising ones. If you see here, you have, like this machine, which is improved, but again, you have this practice, which is by using a stick, and then the farmers thresh the grain. So they have different practices. But when it comes to the improved ones, we developed the improved ones and also a promising one. After the validation, we developed, business models. These business models were tested and currently are implemented and adapted in some other areas. Now, I want to introduce you this business model of hermetic bags, which we call here agros bags. The agros bags are actually manufactured by A to Z company based in Tanzania here. The company, the project contacted this company and facilitated the linkages in Mozambique, where a national distributor was identified, and the national distributor is Casa do Agricultor. This is the main distributor of agros bags. So again, the project linked the Casa do Agricultor with different agro dealers. These are the agro dealers are based district-based agro dealers, and these agros bags are being sold by these different agro dealers in not only in the intervention area, but also we look to create demand and linkages with the other initiatives like World Food Program in other provinces, and also we use through the Ministry of Agriculture to promote this also through the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security Network to promote in other provinces. So that way we reach all over the country. Now, on microfinance, now on financing, we have the project has gone through many. We developed a study. We conducted a study to understand a little bit on the financial market, and the recommendation was it is potential that we really focus on saving and credit groups. And also, while we are looking for other opportunities from the microfinance institutions and the banks. But again, the study highlighted that there was no viable financial packages. So there was a need to develop or refine some existing packages to refine them so that they become viable for smallholder farmers and also the agro dealers. Now, currently, we have an MOU with this bank. The bank is called the Futuro, and the project, supported the bank to conduct a study to understand a little bit the market and to see the profile of the potential beneficiaries, to understand a little bit the market behavior and so on. So this was the role of the project. And again, the bank defined 3 packages. The 3 packages was oriented for the small saving groups, and another group, target group, is the agro dealers. They did not want to finance the farmers individually because the risk was higher there. So again, there was a need to train the farmers on financial literacy and business management, especially the agro dealers. And as a criteria also for eligibility, was the agro dealer was supposed to have the agro dealers were supposed to have some knowledge on business and also at least more than 6 months doing the business. That was one of the criteria. I think the next slide you will actually see a little bit this. Now we have on metal silo this as the main. This MMI Steel is a company and manufacturer of metal sheets. The project established an MOU with this company so that they start producing galvanized metal sheets with all these dimensions and required thickness to produce a quality silo. So in that way, they started producing the first roll in 2014. And again, since this technology was new in the market, so we tried to engage private sector actors to produce silos. So again, here there was a need to train artisans, community-based artisans, to produce quality silos. And also we identified the master trainers to supervise and ensure the quality from these artisans. So basically the role of artisan is to produce a silo only on demand. Well, the demand comes from the agro dealer who actually pays for the labor. But again, the agro dealer, after producing the silo, this silo then is sold to farmers. But this can be directly sold by the agro dealer or can be also through sales agents. These are community-based agents who are promoting it and also, they are mapping all the demand from the community and gives this information to the agro dealer so that he can supply the required amount. Now, coming on the microfinance, again, the credit comes from the saving group, because these saving groups save their money, and this money also can be given to any of the farmer who requires a credit, and he pays a certain interest. Another financing to the farmers or agro dealer comes from the microfinance and bank, this Futuro. Again, the three packages also applies to the metal silo. Now, another way of financing the farmers is through the grain buyers. They buy the grain from the farmers, and then and sometimes they also establish a kind of a contract for sale, in which they say, okay, you can store this grain. I will come and collect after 2 to 3 months. So in that way, again, there is this payment in advance, and then again, it's kind of financing. The promotion actually is done by different, including the agro dealers do the promotion and advice to the farmers. Now, what I was talking before is actually here. I have this slide shows a little bit what we have discussed there. We have the microfinance and the banks. They provide in-kind credit and cash. The in-kind credit is oriented to smallholder farmers and saving groups. In that way, the farmer applies for the credit, and the microfinance will actually contact agro dealer to produce the required technology, because the farmer applies with the farmer specifies the type of technology he wants to buy. So the microfinance institution will actually contact the agro dealers to supply that technology. If then again you have in cash, which is basically oriented to agro dealers and credit and saving groups. So in this way, again here the clients they apply to the microfinance institution, and then the credit is provided. The interest rate is of 4.8.
Let's say this one loud.
Yeah, the interest rate is of 4.8%.
In that pass your own original.
Now, the eligibility criteria is
actually
for the first in-kind is basically the knowledge on financial literacy, and the farmer should have bank account in the same bank.
On credits from MFI.
Now, another thing. The second is the agro dealer should have at least more than 6 months of experience on business, have bank account, and skills on business and financial management. The last slide I will show you is the credit from input suppliers. Again, the input suppliers, like the main distributors, they provide in-kind credit. So again, here the credit is oriented to farmers, like the agro dealer at the district level. They provide metal silos, and these metal silos is paid in three installments. So the payment by the farmer can be done cash or in kind. In kind, sometimes the farmer does not have money, and then grain can be also used as payment. So the eligibility criteria is only trust between these two actors. Now, the last thing is oriented to agro dealers in kind also. From from the main distributor to the agro dealer based in the district. So now here the agro dealer is supposed to pay 50 to 70% cash as entry, and then after selling the product, then he comes to clear the remaining percentage you know. So he's given 30 to 50% loan in kind. So that is based on business agreement, trust, and also the client should be registered. So the project role was to facilitate market linkages, support market assessment, support the development and refining of financial packages, and support trainings on financial literacy. And thank you.
Thank you, Mauricio, for the good presentation. Now, I'm going to open up for some questions from you. You can, if you want to do a question, just unmute yourself and ask a question to Mauricio, or you can send a question through the chat. So the floor is open for questions.
Hello? Hello?
Please
Hello?
go ahead, Afaas. Go ahead, we hear you.
Okay, I wanted to hear on the business model. Is there any credit or loan facilitation to the artisans to get material in kind or in cash, or these options? Do you have these options for the artisans? Because if they wanted to buy the metal silo, they need some That is one of my questions. The other thing is it the microfinance or the banks give credit for the farmers directly?
Mauricio, do you get the question, Mauricio?
Well, thank you for the question. Well, what I can say is that the study we developed here, we conducted here, shows clearly that our artisans are not business oriented. So in that way, this does not become a priority for the most for the bank and also the input suppliers. And that's why there is no credit until now provided to artisans. Now, the second question is related to credit. If the banks if the bank provides credit directly to the farmers. Okay, I said yes, this is provided directly to the farmers, but that is in kind, meaning that if the farmer wants to get a credit, then immediately the bank will ask you, what do you want to buy? They say, okay, I want to buy this product. Then the bank will go and find who can supply that product. This is to reduce the risk. As you see, as you can see, the three packages that are provided that does not have guarantee fund. So to reduce the risk is actually because there are some cases that farmers buy different things, they misapply the credit. Thank you.
Any other question? Anybody, if you have a question, you unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Hello,
Hello,
Thomas.
No,
Hello.
not Thomas. That is Davos, please.
Okay. Welcome, Professor.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm working with Thomas because my computer is not working very well.
Okay. Welcome.
And my question to Mauricio, thank you very much for
Good
your
morning, everybody.
Thank you very much for your presentation. My first question is related to the rate of payment back to the bank.
Okay, thanks.
And the second is related to the size of a silo, metal silo, very often asked for. Is it the big one or is average? That are my questions. I wrote it also on as SMS. Thank you.
Mauricio?
Okay. Thank you, Professor Davito. Well, first of all, I will start with the first question. Normally, the size which has more demand is 400 kg. 400. But then you find some big farmers asking for 800, and average, I can say 400 kg. You have mostly demand on this. Now the payment back right now is very early to give any good result on this, because this has been, we actually started actually having concrete action with the microfinance institution only this year. But I can also answer this when I go back to the credit which is provided by input suppliers. I can say the payment was actually, let's say, 80 to 90% payment back, which is actually good. Yes, and many farmers are demanding for this kind of credit. Thank you.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you. Yes, thanks.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, Matthias Okrut.
Yes, welcome, Matthias.
You're welcome. I'm from Uganda, and from the Uganda Warehouse System Authority. And I'd like to ask, for how long can, let's say, maize be stored in those metallic silos in regards of quality control? Thanks.
Mauricio?
Yes. Could you come again with the question? I didn't get properly.
My question was, how long can, let's say, maize be stored in those metallic silos? For how long can it be stored there, putting into consideration that the quality cannot deteriorate?
Okay, very good. The longest time which that we actually we tried to store the grain is 12 months. 12 months without treatment. Actually, the grain was showing good quality. Now, the average, I can say it's from 6 to 8 months. The average, normally, farmers can keep it up to that. But again, in some areas, you find again farmers who use this only for, let's say, 4 to 6 months, less than 6 months, but average 6 months of storage. But again, the quality is good.
Thank you. Anybody else with the one or two final questions?
Mauricio, I wanted to ask or to say it, something. Is it the banks are convinced by your modality in providing other post-harvest materials like provision of the bags and other facility to develop other facilities like storage rather than metal silo? So when you studied within the circle of metal silo only, or other storage materials have been included in this program also when you study the financial aspect? Thank you.
Mauricio?
Yes, if I understood correctly, yes, first of all, convincing the microfinance institutions, the banks, to invest on PHM and on post-harvest management is actually a nightmare. This is very, time and resource consuming. That's why if we started with more than 3 banks, and currently we have only one who is willing to finance. So that is one issue. Now, if they are convinced, yes, I can say they see the opportunities. But again, you can see it's all about agriculture. So there's a concept coming from these private sector actors looking agriculture as a risky activity, so risk involved activity. But we say yes, we came to this very important stage where we are trying to learn not only the project but also the microfinance institution is learning with this, so that from this learning, from this experience, we can also use to engage other actors. Yes, thank you.
Sorry, I see some questions from the chat. I see a question from Johnson Onyibe from Nigeria, and he's saying that the metal silo was introduced in Nigeria about 2 years ago, about 10 years ago. Initial uptake was fine, but gradually it waned. Presently, it's not being promoted. It's not being promoted owing to some quality issues with the grains. What did we miss? Mauricio, can you respond to that?
Well, very interesting question because that is the main concern right now. The project is concerned with the quality. Quality, right, starting from the material, from the raw material until the production, transportation, the whole supply chain. So this is the main issue. Sometimes we miss when we may concern the quality issue on the production of the metal silo, but we forget the raw material, the metal sheets, the tin which is used. Again, we forget the transport, how the transport is being done, all these things. Then also we forget the handling is very critical. The handling by the farmer is actually the key issue also. Once the farmer doesn't know how to handle it properly, then you will have a big mistake. So that's why we are ensuring all these critical stages that the quality issue is observed, everything. Thank you.
Then we have a question from Thomas, and I think it is also Simplis. What is the rate of payment to the bank by farmers? I think here they mean the repayment of the loan back to the bank.
Okay, I think that question I answered a little bit. I said, well, if we look the microfinance institutions, it's very early to say, it's premature to come up with a really answer to say yes or not, or this payment rate, because we started this year to have concrete action with the microfinance institutions. But when it comes to the credit, which comes the credit coming from agro dealers or input suppliers, then it's 80 to 90% payment back. Here again is the trust, and how this is very interesting is how the two parts come together and negotiate for the product. So this is actually because farmer is convinced when is a businessman in front, they know that everything is business. So that's why they are convinced that if I don't pay, then something will happen with me. So if I pay, then I will have more. I will have I will have. I can also ask for other technology, for any other thing with this agro dealer. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Mauricio. For those of us that have not asked our questions, I propose that we note them, and then we shall have another session for questions at the end of the second presentation. So I want to request that we go to the second presentation from Daniel. Is Daniel there? Daniel? Daniel? Okay, Daniel is here. So we are going to have a second presentation from Daniel. So I want to request Daniel to give us his screen of the presentation, and then we start from there. Daniel, you're welcome. Welcome, Daniel. Daniel? Yes, thank you, Daniel. Daniel, please start. We are waiting for you. Daniel? Hello, Daniel. I think we are missing Daniel. Daniel?
Yeah, it seems he was there and then he left, or yeah, something happened. Maybe the internet is weak. Oh, there he is again. Can you start, Daniel?
Daniel? Are you online? Daniel?
I think his internet connection is not very stable, Jerry. So there are two options. First one is if you can present on behalf of Daniel, or the other one is we continue with questions and answers and contributions from other experts in this group, because it seems there are many other people who are involved in PHM across Africa who has joined here.
Maybe I try to present on behalf of Daniel. I can try to do that. Okay. This is the presentation for Daniel. It's just giving it on his behalf, and once he's available, he will continue from where he finds me. But it's about the warrantage system as a tool for financing smallholder farmers in Benin. And in his presentation plan, he's defining what warrantage is, the operating strategy to make the system sustainable, and he's looking at mobilizing microfinance institutions and how the system finances, how the refund is made, systems challenges, and the warrantage form that Levitas is promoting in Benin. So warrantage is an agricultural credit system which allows producers to guarantee their harvest in order to contract credit from microfinance institutions in order to carry out an income generating activity or to solve some family problems. The actors that are practicing in this system include producers, municipalities, ministries.
I called the attention of the forum to the plight of the village when he was invited to farm in the community. He said such dilapidated structure was scattered across the Ilorin Emirates and commended the state governor for promising to turn around education sector in the state by providing.
Excuse Jerry, someone was interfering. Yeah, you can go ahead now.
Okay. So some of the actors that are working under this system are the municipalities, the ministry, the microfinance institutions, and the NGOs. And these are collaborating with Levitas, the organization that Daniel works with. And And the operating system, how the warrantage functions as a system, they do mobilizing of microfinance institutions for agricultural financing. And here, Helvitas as an organization that is working under the Postharvest Management Project has contracted NGOs that go and identify microfinance institutions. These NGOs and the microfinance institutions strengthen producers' capacities on several themes before they introduce the credit to the farmers. And also the NGO supports those who want to do the warrantage to form the committees, the warrantage committees. These, what we call warrantage, are actually systems that are done by farmer groups. So these farmer groups, among them, they select committees that are going to be managing these systems. How is the financing done? They call for a meeting to exchange and a presentation on the credit application. And there's a negotiation between the NGO, the microfinance institution, and the producers. In this case, the producers are the farmers. The credit value does not exceed 80% of the stock that is warranted within the warrantage systems. And the guaranteeing is mainly a moral guarantee, where farmers are there to guarantee the fellow farmers, and also the NGO also provides some guarantee for the credit. The credit is refunded in several ways. One, it's refunded in full amount, or sometimes it's refunded as partial repayment in installments. However, Helvitas is developing innovations that differ from other types of warrantage. As you may be aware that warrantage is a big phenomenon, especially in West Africa. In Burkina Faso, you'll find it. But the project is trying to put up a different system of warrantage within Benin, where it works. And there's full involvement of local NGOs in the warrantage process. Government represents a joint and a guarantee to secure the credit received. I mean, the NGOs that are working with these farmers, they give some guarantee to secure the credit that is got from the microfinance institutions. However, Helvitas as an organization does not make any funds available to the farmers. There is a mandatory application of good practices of post-harvest management to the products or to the grains that have been warranted under the warrantage system. Helvitas simply facilitates the system. These are some of the benefits or the results of the warrantage system. In the year 2013 to the year 2014, they had a number of groups that practiced the warrantage system, and in this year they had 74 of those, and the total quantity of the grains that were stored in 100 kilogram bags was 265 bags, and they were given a credit of 7,285,000 Benin currency, and the rate of repayment was 100%. So, but what you discover from this graph or this table is that there has been a continuous increment in the number of warrantage systems that have been established over the years from 2013 to 2019. And you see that the amount of grains that has been stored over the years has kept on increasing. until this year when we have made 1,537 bags of grain that is under the warrantage system. The amount of credit that has been contracted to the warrantage system has also continually increased, but I note some reduction in 2015, 2016. Probably the Benin team can try to explain why we have that kind of trend in that year. But what is very intriguing and what is capturing is that the reimbursement rate or the refund rate is 100% all the years. What are some of the challenges that the warrantage system presents? One of the challenges is that there's a need for professionalizing the system, and we need a quality approach around the product. We need to see that storage and that you can anticipate how much is required to be stored, and also to start labeling or to start labeling the product so that you have some product differentiation. Then the other challenge is access to financing that is adapted to agricultural activities is still a challenge, because the interest rates that are offered of 1.5 to 2% per month are not good for agricultural activities. The other challenge is access to more profitable markets for the inclusion of the most vulnerable actors. For example, the smallholder farmers need to be accessing a certain type of market that can take up their products, but these do not exist. And then we need a further development of food storage infrastructure, which does not exist in many of our countries. Then we need to formalize the links between actors and the markets. And currently this does not exist in Benin. And then the implementation of the risk management and sharing mechanisms between the actors. The other challenge is that implementation of information and market access systems is there. And so this does not basically favor our farmers. The other challenge is that we have limited access of warranted products to the institutional markets. The markets that exist do not recognize the products that come from the warranted system or not. So there's no special treatment for the warranted products. And then the implementation with municipalities of collection methods for the local development tax. So seems like there's a tax that is put on the products, and it's even put on the warranted products. And this, I think, discourages farmers who are practicing the warranted system. So that is in brief the presentation that we're supposed to have from Daniel. So I want to thank you for listening. I hope Daniel is online now.
Unfortunately, I don't see Daniel. No, Daniel is not there. So maybe we can continue with questions. I see that Noor from Somalia has asked, and Jerry and Mauricio, you can reply to her question or his question. The question is, our farmers in Somalia has problem in storage because they have no proper storage and lost their products approximately 70%. This issue affects the livelihoods of rural communities. So is there any strategy that you can propose? That is the question from Noor Muhammad. And you are there, you are online, Noor. Maybe if you want to give more precision about your question. And I think this is not just for Mauricio. It can be also open to any participants here. So after Noor's question, we have also Isaias, who is raising his hand. So let's proceed with Noor first. Or Isaiah, do you want to answer that question?
Maybe there is no, maybe each country have their own strategy. For Ethiopia, we developed the post-harvest strategy also. By this, with the same project which is presented today also, we have a strategy, but each country should prepare their own strategy based on the post-harvest loss causes, and then after that they end the post-harvest losses and the structure they have, and even they have to consider the concerned institutes which are available around them, so they can develop in this way. And but now this project works only in metal silo. If you look at the post-harvest loss, from it starts from harvesting, then it will end at consumption level. So they have to develop these things. Maybe each country may share each other in this regards. Regarding why my question is, I wanted to know what type of risk management. Is there any guidelines they developed for risk management among the stakeholders who are involving in the credit on the credit facilitation? This is my question.
Okay. Yes. I think there are many experts also in this group. For instance, Prof. Simplis from Benin. If you want to intervene, please just unmute yourself and you can answer some of the questions, and others also who are here.
I would like to say something about the first question. As he said that in which country? In Somalia, that they are losing a lot of products. I think that the warrantage can be applied to them also if farmers want to come together and to store their product all together. This is one aspect. And the second aspect is that there are, for small farmers, there are also sub-bag, which we call pig's bag, which individually farmers can use. It is not too much expensive, and individual farmers use it in our country. And this is quite very good. And with respect to the credit, as the previous speaker said, it is when the farmers are together, they can share the risk, and this is very important. And they can have some people who are looking at the market and to decide at the right moment when to sell at a very good price. And also organizations organizations such as Afaas, we are helping them to find the right moment to sell. And also when the product is in the house together, people are going to look at very often to see if the product is well kept or not. And this is a group strategy, and this we think that it is very good, because for storing, they have to follow a number of steps to clean it very well and to apply the good practices before storing. And this is very important that people need to know. And as we develop also some video on how to keep it, how to process and to get a very good product store. And if this, we can share also the video with them. I can find it easily on the Access Agriculture website, and it is also in English. We can get it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Simplis. Yeah, I hope, Nur Muhammad, you got some elements of answer for regarding your question now. Maybe what we can do also is some of countries like Ethiopia has already its PHM strategy. Is it possible to ask you to share it to the group in case some might be inspired reading your strategy, or even some might even do some copy-paste improvement from your strategy? So those who already have, can I ask who has already a strategy, a PHM strategy? If you can just raise your hand, click on the raise hand, and so that we might contact you. Okay, so yeah, Ethiopia has, I presume Benin also has a PHM strategy. Yes, and Mozambique also. So maybe you can share these documents if they are public, and we can send to everybody so that we can exchange ideas also on this same topic of PHM all the time.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, Mauricio, you want to add something?
Yeah, you know, because I found very interesting question. Hello. Hello. Yes, I want to say something because I found very interesting the question brought by, by Mohammed. You see, in Mozambique, we started right from there. You know, the farmers were using different traditional options, different technologies, but the losses were there. And you know, the first thing you should do is to understand what is going on, why the market is not working properly. The farmers there may not have access to improved post-harvest technologies, and also the best practices in general. They may not have that knowledge. Simply said, you should know you should understand the whole the different steps, the improved practices, so that before storage. Our lesson here is that don't rush to invest more on storage when you don't have other pre-storage practices improved. Then you go there, because all these different steps contribute towards good storage. Now, in Mozambique, we actually developed, we did a lot on production of evidences, because from the evidences, then you can take them and discuss with the policymakers to influence them so that they can actually integrate this issue of post-harvest losses on their agendas. Now, in Mozambique, currently, we have a national post-harvest management action plan. We started from there. the strategy was something very high, but we started with the action plan. And then from there, we also influenced the establishment of a national strategy. Now, you see, all these findings, all these lessons from this project were actually used to integrate, to define the terms of reference to produce the national strategy. Currently, the government is actually elaborating the national strategy. So this is something that you should do. Start from the bottom and then you can reach upward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mauricio.
Hello.
Questions, especially if you have if you have some experience that you want to share regarding financing of public PHM investments within our countries. Do you have any experience that you can share with the rest of the team that is on this webinar on how you finance this?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, once again, this is Matthias from Uganda. It's unfortunate that the presenter for the warrantage presentation couldn't make it, but at least I know our colleagues from Benin can ably answer this to see if I can be of help to the entire team. I've noticed that they are working with the municipalities, and I've seen among the challenges that the local development tax is discouraging farmers to use the system. Is there any legal or regulatory framework that is being used in the implementation of this system to see that at least there can be some factors enticing farmers to use the system comfortably? Then the other is the aspect of sustainability. It isn't a question, but just a contribution, because here in Uganda, NGOs supported the piloting of this system in the country, but when their time phased out, the farmers were left hanging. I think the farmer groups in support need to really create that environment that can enable the sustainable, is it to have a sustainable implementation of the system, even when the project phases out, but waiting for any other that may be coming on board to support the farmers. Thank you.
Professor Simplis and Thomas? Are you there?
Yeah, we are there. And with respect to the legal aspect, I will say that in Benin, the municipality is involved in the system, and also the extension body is involved in the system of warrantage, because those people are the one, the municipality collects some taxes, and it helps the municipality to get some funds, and it is useful for the municipality. And some municipality gave the infrastructure to the farmers to store their product there. And also, when it is time to sell, the municipality can collect the taxes very easily because it is in a group. And the extension body go to see from time to time to see how the product is behaving. Is it well kept or not? And this is very important, we have to mention. And also the credit man also go there together with the farmers to see the product. So everybody is working all together for a performance of the system. And with respect to the sustainability aspect, it happened this year, for example, that some finance microfinance group is telling farmers that the rate of interest will increase, and then they refuse to get the credit from them, and they do not get any credit before the end of the season. And this means that farmers are getting conscious about the situation, and maybe in the short term, but we stop asking for credit and be able to store the product themselves and sell it, together with the help of technical help from extension body and from the municipality. Thank you.
And maybe what the other aspect that you may need to talk about, Professor Simplis, is there any legal framework that supports warrantage in Benin?
Yeah, it is still they do not finalize it yet, but we are making a lot of lobby in the direction of the government, and they include it in the development plan by vote. But for the implementation, we are still in every municipality now. They put down something about post-harvest management. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions about the previous presentation on warrantage, and also the first presentation that we had on the microfinance and the business models? So all those questions can come, and also feel free to share your experience about financing for post-harvest management investments in your country. Do we have no other questions?
I think Akinwale has asked a very technical one. I'm not sure it has been answered yet. Akinwale, do you want to ask to ask your question? And also Yaro. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon. I'm Akinwale from Nigeria.
Hi. Hello.
Yeah.
Good. Hi.
I want to know.
Yes, let's proceed one by one. First, Akinwale, then I think it will be Yaro, and then Nur again.
Okay. Thank you very much. My question is, I want the panelists or any member of this group to share with us in Nigeria any PHF strategy for beans storage. In Nigeria, we are currently having problems with our farmers storing beans with snipers, the chemical that is very dangerous to health. Is there any PHF strategy for bean storage that is sustainable, that will not allow our farmers to lose their beans to weevils? Because the complaint and the excuse was that beans, when stored, are generally attacked with weevil. Is there any commercial PHF strategies that could be introduced to them, and that we could also get finance and popularize it so that our farmers will not at the same time lose money, and then there's going to be good agricultural practice or good food in the table of the consumer? That's my question, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Akinwale. Maybe we'll take the other question and then we'll answer everybody at the same time. Yaro, can you ask your question now?
What is the regulatory procedure of warrantage in Nigeria?
Okay, maybe not only in Nigeria, but anywhere in the world. What are the law that governs it, as you said?
Yes.
And what is the government's role? Yeah.
Good. Very good.
Thank you. Noor, can you ask your question?
First propose about what kind of storage that we use in Somalia as in rural areas. Normally we use underground storage, and that's an old traditional storage that almost, as I told before, like 70% of the product we lose every year. So I want to ask, is it possible to apply, because we don't know any experience about like warrantage. As I now I'm looking, it's very good strategy. So is it possible to get like something related, like capacity building or something about how to use warrantage in Somalia farmers? Thank you.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello?
Matthias. Let's end with the Matthias question, and then everybody can answer. And I think we have to close this webinar because it's taking more than 1 hour and 30 minutes now. Yes, please, Matthias, go ahead.
Okay, I would like to share some experience from Uganda. We have a law called the Warehouse Receipt Act of 2006. That was passed by Parliament, and it really guides us very well, in addition to the Warehouse Receipt Regulations of 2007. All these were developed after some pilot projects that ran in the country. And currently for the storage, we use the flatbed storage facilities and some silos. Currently, we have two systems running. There is the non-regulated system that is operating between the private sector players and the financial institutions. Then the one that is regulated by us, who are the institution of government mandated to regulate the warehouse receipt system. Now, when you look at that, we as an institution, we are mandated to promote and regulate the system all over the country. But according to the Benin experience, I noticed they're working so much with the municipalities. There might happen to be some municipalities that don't have an arrangement or a legal framework to use the system. That's why I was really key on asking the legal framework guiding the operations of the system. Yeah, that's what I have to share from Uganda. For us, we have a regulated system on board. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Matthias. Again, I want to reiterate all those who have documentations on warehouse or in policy or whatever related to PHM. Please send me and Jerry so that we can share it. And by the way, it will be shared also. This webinar will be shared. The video recording of this webinar will be shared with your presentations and documentation that you will send. Any final inputs regarding this, the last questions?
Yes, I can say something, just add some input. You see, when it comes to promotion of storage solutions, I would say, first of all, we should go for, giving, let's say, a number of options to the farmers, a basket of options, first of all, because I would say in Mozambique we have like the hermetic bags. This is one of the technology we include in the basket. The metal silo is there. but also we have some improved storage granaries. These also, there are some improvements and people can still use while they are looking for money to buy the better and the best. And if you see, our experience is that, you know, farmers, they have different ways of understanding and also seeing the advantages. If you if you ask a man which technology he would actually adopt first between the hermetic bags and the metal silo, I would actually say yes, the man can easily adopt the bags because the man is business oriented. A woman will go for food security, so easily can adopt the metal silos and other improved granaries. So this kind of way of promoting technologies is very important. We have to understand, first of all, who is the target group, the profile. In Mozambique, we have we have this commodity exchange. Commodity exchange is promoting the warrantage receipt system, but it is actually not working currently in Mozambique. We tried to strengthen it, but it is not actually working. Why? Because it is centralized. They have these big silos, but these are like in one province with 16 districts, they have only one district benefiting this kind of infrastructure. Again, in another province, it's like that. So we want to find some other ways of having a storage system with this type of warrantage system very close to the smallholder farmer to reduce logistic and also transportation costs and so on. And that is my contribution. Thank you.
Okay, I want to thank everybody for the active participation in this webinar. I also want to thank the people that have presented and everyone that has made a good contribution to this webinar. Before we sign out of this webinar, we are going to have another session, a similar session in the evening, starting from 5 o'clock for Nairobi, Kampala, East Africa. For West Africa, it will be 3 p.m. And for Southern Africa, where Mozambique is, which it will be at 4 p.m. So you can encourage other people to join in at that time. Some of the materials and the videos that we've been talking about, you can access them at Access Agriculture website, and also access some of this information from the Afaas virtual platform. I just want to share this for more information. Yes, for more information, you can find this information on the Afaas virtual platform by that address. And then we'll also put on the FundraPan website and the Global Community of Practice on Post-Harvest Management hosted by FAO. And so we want to say thank you very much for your coming, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you. So can I say bye-bye to everybody? And let's meet in the evening for those of you who want to continue with this webinar. Say bye.
Maybe if you want to show your face so that we can do a bye-bye for next time.
Goodbye.
Yes.
Bye, bye everybody.
I'll see you next time.
Yeah, activate your video so that we can see everybody. I'm going to post this. These are other people who joined.
Yes. Bye, bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Yes.
you.